At 56 years old, the nation's ultimate TV darling from the 2000 sitcom era delivered a massive shocker that caught everyone completely off guard. This revelation didn't stem from front-page news, a gossip magazine scoop, or some secret insider leak. The actress personally broke her silence with total clarity and zero resentment, simply stating that he had been her ultimate soulmate. Delivering pure honesty without any warning, she left her supporters completely stunned. People instantly wondered if she was finally addressing that specific guy whose shadow had loomed over her press junkets and premiere appearances for 20 years. She meant Brad Pitt, though the real shock lay in her timing since she had kept her mouth firmly shut for ages. She navigated infidelity, gossip, intense media frenzies, and false narratives about refusing motherhood with absolute composure, remaining completely stoic until this exact moment. Today, she openly discusses her early psychological wounds, maternal estrangement, real reasons behind her divorces, and fertility battles. Yet amidst that immense suffering, a single individual remains anchored right in the middle of her story. What pushed this superstar to break her silence after so many years? And what was her true meaning behind labeling him her ultimate soulmate? Finding those answers requires us to rewind history right back to her initial childhood scars. Long before achieving stardom, joining her iconic sitcom cast, or captivating audiences globally as a beloved character, this young kid was raised in a household resembling an active battlefield rather than a safe haven. Arriving into a Los Angeles acting family, her parents were industry professionals, yet her actual upbringing lacked any trace of the typical glitz and glamour you would expect. Her folks split up when she was only 9, leading her dad to vanish abruptly and without a trace. However, the deepest psychological harm didn't stem from his sudden exit, but rather from having to live with her mum. The matriarch possessed striking looks, but ruthlessly nitpicked everything. The actress recalls her mum being hyper-focused on physical beauty and constantly dishing out harsh critiques. This woman regularly demanded her daughter apply cosmetics or fix her appearance, dropping subtle insults that inflict massive damage when repeated daily by the exact parent meant to offer unconditional support. Those deep emotional scars lingered until her 20s, when she labeled her upbringing psychologically toxic. The final straw hit in 1996, after her mum went on national television to broadcast the star's private secrets. The matriarch crossed another line by releasing a tell-all family book, prompting her famous kid to sever all ties and maintain absolute silence for 15 whole years. Being sold out on a global stage only intensified an internal struggle she had fought since grade school, cementing her deep-seated fear of simply being inadequate to her parents and the rest of society. That specific brand of trauma never truly fades away, instead hiding beneath glamorous dresses and high-profile photo shoots until inevitably resurfacing to cause catastrophic romantic devastation. Her broken roots shadowed every step of her journey, impacting her initial auditions, incredibly famous relationships, and exhausting lifelong struggle for genuine confidence. Long before those demons took over, the future icon managed to pull off something incredible by channeling her intense suffering directly into her career ambitions. A short while later, that heavily criticized kid began her ascent toward becoming America's favorite broadcast star. Way before cashing those massive $1 million weekly paychecks, she barely scraped by making cold calls, pedaling through Manhattan, delivering packages, and serving food. Showbiz remained her ultimate goal, despite feeling like an ongoing prank, especially after acting in 4 consecutive disastrous television tests. Even her silver screen debut in a cheap, scary movie ended up widely panned by reviewers and the actress herself as absolute garbage. Completely embarrassed, financially ruined, and deeply sad, she nearly walked away forever until a fateful late-night bump into a major network executive while pumping gas changed everything. She burst into tears, confessing her desire to quit, but he urged her to keep pushing forward. A few months passed before he offered her a sitcom spot that she originally never should have landed. Trying out for a different lead part, casting directors spotted a totally natural fragility within her and handed over an alternate character instead, instantly rewriting television history forever. The comedy series exploded into a massive sensation, turning her into the era's definitive poster child, while sparking crazed demands for her signature haircuts, wardrobe choices, and endless magazine features. Behind all that glittering success, she vividly remembered her near exit from the industry and the countless rejections she faced, particularly her mum's harsh prediction about failing in the entertainment business. Carrying that scrappy fighter mindset forever grounded her and fostered a deep connection with normal folks who desperately wanted her to win, though achieving such astronomical notoriety always exacts a heavy toll. Millions of eyes scrutinize every single move she made, obsessing over her romantic life, personal choices, and physical appearance, right at the absolute peak of her professional journey. She found herself falling hard for a man destined to elevate her status, before utterly shattering her spirit, kicking off in typical glitzy celebrity fashion. Handlers set up a meeting between the two gorgeous, freshly unattached stars, sparking a connection that quickly transcended standard gossip fodder to become the entertainment industry's equivalent of a sovereign empire. Far from flashing cameras and VIP events, their initial hangout was incredibly low-key and sparked immediate chemistry. Unbeknownst to fans, the actress had just kicked off the defining pop culture romance of that entire era. Flying under the radar initially, the duo finally stepped out together publicly during the 1999 television awards ceremony. He popped the question at a rock show before the year ended, presenting a bespoke duel that required 7 months of craftsmanship, leading to their summer 2000 nuptials. They threw a $1 million beachside bash packed with 200 elites, where she adorably swore to blend his preferred fruity beverages, while he playfully vowed to compromise on house temperatures. Beyond their stunning looks, the pair showcased a hilariously authentic dynamic that left everyday fans completely obsessed. Between luxurious island getaways, purchasing a $13 million mansion, and his funny cameo trashing her character on television, the actor's constant public adoration for his wife made their bond feel incredibly unique. He constantly raved to reporters about finding his ultimate soulmate and absolute dream girl, sounding totally locked in for the long haul, while she practically radiated joy as they launched their own production company. Laying the groundwork for an enduring legacy, the couple frequently discussed pumping the brakes on their careers to welcome children, making everything appear flawlessly picture-perfect from the outside. Unsurprisingly, those Tinseltown dreams eventually cracked behind closed doors as he plunged headfirst into gritty cinematic projects, while she prepared to exit her sitcom to focus on motherhood. Their personal growth clearly pushed them down totally separate paths, yet the sudden 2005 divorce statement still completely blindsided fans and officially ended the era's ultimate power duo. Releasing that initial 2005 breakup memo, the pair desperately spun a friendly narrative claiming a mutual, respectful split utterly devoid of any infidelity or hidden resentment. Gossip rags immediately shredded that peaceful illusion when explosive paparazzi shots leaked just weeks later, showing the actor frolicking along an African shoreline with his new co-star and her little boy. Those incredibly cozy vacation snapshots perfectly aligned with the wrap of their spy thriller project, confirming the sizzling romantic tension audiences had spotted between the two action stars on camera. Society viewed his lightning-fast rebound as an act of sheer treachery, forcing his ex-wife to endure the brutal humiliation of watching her heartbreak broadcast endlessly across every media outlet, while her rival got branded a massive homewrecker. Cast as the tragically dumped spouse facing off against her fleeing partner, she transformed into an avatar for any gorgeous, thriving woman suddenly abandoned by their man, though her internal agony surpassed simple magazine rumors. Vicious whispers unfairly blamed the actress for the divorce by claiming her selfish career obsession and refusal to procreate drove her husband away, a completely fabricated narrative hiding the actual truth. During a sit-down, she clarified she never ruled out motherhood, yet the stubborn rumor persisted. The public simply labeled her as overly career-driven and detached. A bombshell conversation later altered the entire timeline. Her rival openly admitted to falling for her co-star on set well before any legal separation occurred. The actress kept her composure in the press, letting her quiet dignity speak volumes. Behind closed doors, she survived through counseling, meditation, and steadfast friends like Courtney Cox. Outwardly, she was the picture of poise, though internally she was falling apart. The sting of infidelity was magnified 100 times over by the relentless media circus. Strangers openly debated her misery, pasting her face across tabloids to fuel another couple's romance. Instead of fighting back, she quietly shouldered the immense grief for a very long time. Following the infamous split, society scrutinized her dating life obsessively. A simple greeting with a man sparked wild speculation, making genuine romantic connections nearly impossible. She struck up a romance with a famous singer in 2008, which initially felt serious. Despite his public declarations of commitment, a getaway south of the border exposed his cheating ways. History repeated itself with another crushing, albeit less publicized, betrayal. The musician begged for forgiveness, but she swiftly ended things and stayed under the radar until 2011. A cautious introduction to a quirky writer blossomed into deep devotion. The pair purchased a $22 million Bel Air mansion and ultimately tied the knot in a secret wedding 4 years later. It genuinely looked as though she had discovered a quiet, intimate partnership. She finally had a sanctuary away from the flashing cameras, though this chapter also came to a close. By 2017, the couple released a peaceful statement about their divorce. Free from scandalous rumors, the actress used the aftermath to profoundly reconnect with her own identity. Throwing herself into television production, she snagged multiple trophies for her acclaimed streaming drama. Through it all, her decades-long bond with her sitcom co-star remained her ultimate anchor. Despite her massive personal growth, fans refused to let her past go. A single red carpet run-in or passing remark immediately sparked fresh gossip about her famous ex-husband. When pressed about a possible reconciliation, she offered only polite, carefully rehearsed deflections. She knew perfectly well that audiences desperately crave fairy tale endings for unresolved celebrity romances. A sense of finality was slowly approaching on the horizon. For nearly 30 years, the media treated her physical appearance as something they owned and could freely dissect. Between the aggressive paparazzi and obsessed followers, she lacked basic bodily autonomy. A baggy sweater or a minor weight fluctuation instantly triggered massive cover stories, declaring she was finally expecting. Society wrongly equated her worth with her ability to reproduce. While the press spun lies about her prioritizing Hollywood over a family, she was actually fighting a devastating, silent battle. She exhausted every possible medical option to conceive a baby. From grueling in vitro fertilization to herbal remedies in her 30s and 40s, she suffered through the agonizing process completely alone. Critics branded her as a self-absorbed star, never once considering her actual reality. The constant, baseless assumptions finally pushed the A-lister to her absolute limit in 2016. Penning a blistering op-ed, she condemned the press for constantly reducing women to incubators. She explicitly stated she was not expecting a baby, but rather completely exhausted by the relentless scrutiny. The gossip persisted anyway, until a groundbreaking 2022 magazine feature. Dropping her guard entirely, she confessed that her grueling journey to conceal had ultimately ended in failure. The biological window had firmly closed. She acknowledged that early medical intervention could have changed her fate, yet she managed to find genuine acceptance in her current childless reality. Reclaiming her own story required immense courage. By speaking out, she proved she was neither defective nor lacking, but simply navigating a life journey that defied traditional expectations. Her bold admission liberated countless others facing the exact same suffocating societal pressures. Despite achieving this hard-won serenity, one lingering piece of her past remained completely unaddressed. She finally voiced the sentiment she had buried for decades. There was no flashy rollout or PR stunt involved, just a deeply vulnerable admission during a routine conversation. At 56 years old, she was simply looking back on her complicated romantic history. Calling him her ultimate soulmate, she left no doubt in anyone's mind about exactly who she meant. The answer was her famous first husband. Pushing past the devastating cheating scandals and years of stoicism, she confirmed the public's greatest theory with remarkable grace instead of anger. Speaking without a trace of resentment, she offered pure, tranquil truth. This was hardly a desperate attempt to win him back or rewrite history, but rather a profound display of maturity. She openly embraced her actual past rather than spinning a more convenient narrative. The reality of initial heartbreak is that those intense feelings frequently leave a permanent mark on your soul. These connections fundamentally shape your resilience and future relationships, which perfectly describes his impact on her. Even without a romantic reunion, their deep mutual admiration and undeniable bond clearly survived the wreckage. Small glimpses of their enduring affection have slowly surfaced over time. From a fleeting red carpet embrace to a playful glance during an online charity event, the chemistry remains obvious. These subtle interactions hint at a profound shared nostalgia. When questioned about walking down the aisle again, the actress flatly stated she has completely closed the door on marriage. However, she did confess to a much deeper craving. She admitted to occasionally yearning for a comforting partner to hold her after a truly grueling shift at work. Her raw honesty resonated deeply because it bypassed all the cinematic cliches. She was simply describing the profound, everyday comfort of a mature and highly genuine partnership.